honor to YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Qadash, and double honor to the elders at Great Millstone and Shalawam to the elect of the nation of Israel. All right. And my Hebrew name is 𝐤𝐄𝐄𝐅𝐿, and I'm with the brother Yeshaya. So what we're gonna do in this video is break down the book of Esdras. Of course, we're not gonna break down the whole thing, but we're gonna show you how important and vital that the book of Esdras is for the last days, right? Because we are living in the last days. So we're gonna go into history. We're gonna go into prophecy, and we're just gonna jump here and there in other chapters, grab whatever book, verse, and so, brother, let's get right into it. Start with 2nd Esdras chapter 15 and verse 1.
This is 2nd Esdras 15, verse 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord.
So the Most High told Ezra to speak in the ears of his people the words of prophecy. All right. So prophecy, okay, the Lord's people, of course, are the blacks, Latinos, and natives, right, which are collectively known as Israelites or Yasharala. And prophecy is something that we say before it happens. Okay, prophecy means to say before. All right, the book of Ezra is full of prophecy. It's full of historical events, whether past, and it's also filled with future events that haven't even taken place yet. So now, since I mentioned that, let's jump to 2nd Esdras chapter 13.
God. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 13 and verse 1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him.
All right, verse 3 says, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, and that man is Yahawashi. Now, in the book of Jude, says that Enoch prophesied that the Lord was going to come back with thousands of his saints, or was going to come back with his angels, all right, to wreak havoc on the world and also on Esau's kingdom, right? So this man here is Yahawashi, which is a black man according to the Bible, right? And most Christians don't know how the Lord, or who they call or ignorantly call Jesus Christ, is coming back, okay? But we know how he's coming back. Right now, the Bible talks about chariots, okay? The Bible talks about chariots. So before we get more into it, let's continue reading.
Verse 4.
The book of Isaiah also.
God. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 13, verse 4. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth felleth when it filleth the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea.
Okay, so there was a multitude of men gathered together. Now, the multitude of these men are the nations. You got China, you got Russia, you got Japan, you got America, you got Iran, you got North Korea. You got all these different nations that are going to join forces and fighting Yahawashi when he returns, okay, in the chariot, okay, because that's how Yahawashi is coming back. So, and also it mentions the four winds, meaning the nations coming out of, east, north, south, west of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Now, out of the sea doesn't mean out of the water, like the sea, the literal sea. It means from the atmosphere, from the sky, okay? Like the scriptures say, look up for your salvation, draweth nigh. we know that the chariots are going to be our deliverance. So those chariots are going to come from the sky. And it's going to be a huge, huge chariot, which is going to go into in this chapter that Ezra saw that covered the sky. Right? That's how big it was. It wasn't like the chariots that brothers see from time to time. You know, it's going to be a really big chariot that's going to cover everything. Right? It's going to be a dark day. Because what happens when you cover, like, for example, if you got like a nightstand and a light bulb, if you put like a dark bed sheet over it, it's going to darken the room. It's not going to lighten the room up. So Yahawashi is coming to darken the America. You know what I'm saying? He's coming to darken the world. Right?
Gone.
Basically, the scriptures tell you it's going to be a very gloomy and dark day for America.
So jumping back, this is going to be verse 6. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain, and flew up upon it.
Meaning Yahawashi was on a chariot. That's all it means, right?
But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not.
Right, so Ezra could not see nothing but this chariot, right?
And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid,
Right, so
and
the
yet
nations,
durst fight.
right, so the nations were afraid, right? You got it out, go ahead.
And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude.
Now read that again.
Verse 8. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight.
Meaning they're going to fight. Even though they're scared, they're shook, they're going to fight. You know what I'm saying? The Most High is going to make them fight. It's just like a bully in the playground. He's telling the weaker opponent, get up and fight me, get up and fight me. The strong opponent, he knows he's going to win. He knows he's going to win. But the weak opponent says, you know what? At least let me give it my all. Let me give it a shot, you know? So, right, in this sense, the weaker opponent are the nations, and the stronger opponent is Yahawashi. And the angels.
And lo, as he saw the violence.
Matter of fact, let's stop right there. Let's stop right there. Grab man, I want to grab Isaiah 14, but no, just continue reading.
God. This is going to be 2nd Esdras chapter 13 and verse 9. And lo, as
matter of fact, no, I'm correct. Now, I mentioned that Yahawashi is returning with the angels, right? Now, like Esau has a military, he's got men, right, that back him up, and all these nations have men that back them up. Well, Yahawashi has angels that are fighting alongside with him, right? They're fighting alongside with him. So that's not going to be Yahawashi coming to destroy Esau, but it's also going to be the angels. And let's grab the one in Revelation chapter 12, and I believe it might be around verse 7. It talks about Michael and his angels fought against the dragon.
This is Revelation chapter 12, verse 7. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels.
Right. So that Michael is the second in command under Yahawashi. So the angels are going to be right there with Yahawashi, destroying America, destroying this place. All right. And so they're going to take down the dragon, which is Esau, right? Or America. Right. And that's straight to the point. They're going to take them down, right? Your fighter jets are not going to be able to stop or penetrate an angel. You can't do nothing against no angel. You know, you can't do nothing against no angel. What you gonna do? You're gonna give it your all, you know. And this event here is gonna happen during World War III, which the Bible talks about World War III. Right? The Bible talks about World War III and the events and things that are going to take place while Michael and his angels and Yahawashi and the angels are fighting against Esau and the world powers. All right, the world and fighting against the world powers.
Con, to back you up, I got Amos 5:18. It reads, "Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light." See, so multiple verses are going to touch on the same basis, because this is the truth that we're dealing with. The Lord didn't change his mind from any prophet. It's always been the same message that we teach today, from the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone on down.
Right. The Bible talks about in the book there's lamentations, mournings, and woes. So within the Bible, it's not all good news. You ain't gonna find just good news in the Bible. You're gonna find bad news. You're gonna find war. You're gonna find famine. You're gonna find slavery. You're gonna find inflation. You're gonna find debt. You're gonna find salvation. You're gonna find so many things written in the Bible. So when you read and break down this book, you just can't stick to one aspect. You can't just be like, I'm just gonna be talking about salvation. That's not how the Bible works. The Bible has good news and it has bad news. You have to break down everything. You just can't speak about one thing and leave something else out.
Con. Did you want me to grab that in Isaiah?
No, we ain't got to grab it about Lucifer, which is only found like once in the Bible. I believe it's only found once in the book of Isaiah 14. We ain't got to grab that, but because that's like reiterating the same thing.
Right.
Satan being Esau, or the adversary being taken out of power by Yahawashi. There's one in Revelation 19. We don't have to grab that. Yahawashi coming to take the crowns.
Yeah.
Snatching the crown off the head of these nations. We ain't got to grab that. All right, so that was that in the book of Ezra. We could read more into it, but that was it. That proved the point. Now, let's jump to now. Here's another question for a Christian. Is Jesus Christ, who you call Jesus Christ, found written in the Apocrypha or in the book of Ezra? Most Christians don't read the Apocrypha. They don't believe that it's canonical, or they don't believe that it has a part to do with the Bible. All right? But grab Ezra chapter 7, just to prove that Jesus is written in the book of Ezra. It's verse 20. Verse 27, 28, and 29.
God.
Well, you can start at 27, but it's verse 28 and 29.
God. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 7, verse 27. "And whosoever is delivered from the foresaid evils shall see my wonders. For my son Yahawashi shall be revealed with those that be with him, and they that remain shall rejoice within 400 years."
Okay? So Ezra came around the time of 4 something, give or take, BC, right? He came 400 years before Yahawashi. So Ezra knew that Yahawashi, or the Messiah, had to arrive, or had to, be placed on earth after, 400 years, or somewhere around that time. Ezra understood prophecy. He understood about the Messiah because he read Ezra came, like, for example, Ezra came after Isaiah, and Isaiah mentions you know, Yahawashi. Isaiah mentions the Yahawashi. So Ezra read scrolls, or the written scrolls, and he knew about, like, you know, like Deuteronomy, where it talks about, you know what? Let's grab that one. Deuteronomy 18 and verse 18. And you can read the NLT on it. Ezra understood prophecy. He was in the spirit of prophecy, and he understood Yahawashi coming after 400 years, after him. Or coming 400 years after.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 18 in the NLT. I will raise up a prophet like you.
Start at verse 16.
God. This is Deuteronomy
15 or 16.
God, he said start at 15.
Around there, yep.
God. This is Deuteronomy 18, verse 15 in the NLT. Moses continued, Yahawah, your power, will raise up for you a prophet like me from among your fellow Israelites. You must listen to him. For this is what you yourselves requested of Yahawah, your God, when you were assembled at Mount Sinai.
That was it. Matter of fact, you could drop it. That was the point.
God.
Now, Moses told the children of Israel that the Lord was going to raise unto us a prophet. Now, that prophet is Yahawashi, because Yahawashi is a prophet. All right, and he's also the Messiah / Savior / everything. And so that didn't happen during the time of Ezra, but Ezra knew that this was already written in the old, manuscripts or the scrolls. So that's why Ezra said that in the book of Ezra, chapter 7. Right? Because that ain't happened during the time of Nehemiah, during the time of Ezra, which is the same as Esdras. That's the same man, right? That happened when Yahawashi was born. Yahawashi was born around what? Around the 1st century AD. That's when Yahawashi was born, in the 1st century AD. Ezra was here prior to Yahawashi. All right? So that was that. Now, jump to Matthew, where it talks about, it's Matthew 23 and like verse 37, where Yahawashi spoke about the hen. The reason why Esau likes to exclude the Apocrypha is because there's so much history in the Apocrypha. And yes, we are going to grab 2nd Ezra chapter 6 after this. Lord will. Lord will.
And you said when he talks about, what was that at?
The hen. It's 23 and 37.
God. This is Matthew chapter 23 and verse 37. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets, and stonest them which are sent unto thee, how often would I have gathered thy children together, even as a hen gathereth her chickens under her wings, and ye would not. Behold.
Right. So here, Yahawashi went back in time and quoted the book of Ezra, the 1st chapter. Okay? Before it was in book form, it was in scrolls, right? So this is 1st Ezra chapter, 2nd Ezra chapter 1, and I'm going to start at verse 25. I'm going to start at verse 25. Seeing ye have forsaken me, I will forsake you also. When he desired me to be gracious unto you, I shall have no mercy upon you. Whensoever he shall call upon me, I will not hear you. For ye have defiled your hands with blood. and your feet are swift to commit manslaughter. Hold on. Read that again. Now, read that verse 37 again.
Matthew
This is how you
20.
know Yahawashi was quoting this chapter here. I ain't even get to verse 30 yet, where the point is at. But this is how you know Yahawashi was quoting this here. Listen to what he tells the leadership of that time.
Matthew 23, verse 37. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou killest the prophets, and stonest them which are sent unto thee.
There you
How
go.
often?
So Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou killest the prophets that are stoned that are sent unto thee. Okay, so they were committing manslaughter, right? They were taking out their fellow Israelites. Okay, because when the prophets were on the scene, nobody wanted us on the scene. Nobody wanted to hear what was going to happen to the Roman government. Nobody wanted to hear that. They didn't want to hear the bad, like something bad. Like, oh, I don't want to hear that. They want to hear those smooth things, like the Christian pastor talks about in church. And Yahawashi told him, look, y'all murderers. He called in Matthew 23, he's like, you stone the prophets. Someone that takes another fellow Israelite's life is considered a murderer. So this first, 2nd Esdras chapter 1 and verse 26 again. Whensoever he shall call upon me, I will not hear you. For ye have defiled your hands with blood, and your feet are swift to commit murder. Now this is verse 30. I gather you together as a hen gathereth her chickens under her wings. But now what shall I do unto you? I will cast you out from my face. Yahawashi quoted 2nd Esdras chapter 1 and verse 30. And yes, there's other scriptures in the book of Ezra that Yahawashi quoted. I actually made a list, but we don't have to get them all. Maybe we'll probably get one.
God.
One more or two. But I had made a list. All right, let's drop that. Let's drop that. Let's jump now to 2nd Esdras chapter 6, and you can start at verse 7 and read down to 9.
This is going to be 2nd Esdras chapter 6 and verse 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
Right. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. Now, Ezra knew very well. He's seen the future. He's seen the end time. Ezra had a heavy spirit on him. He's seen Esau as being that dominant force and that dominant ruler at the end of time. Ezra's seen Esau as the end of the end kingdom before the Israelites begin ruling. See, Ezra knew about that. And that's how we know that Esau is the end of the world. And the reason why we know that, and Ezra knew that, is because, like I mentioned earlier, he went back into the old manuscript, like the book of Genesis 27. Let's grab that. Genesis 27. Start at verse 37 or 38. BAHASHAM.
Genesis 27.
You think Ezra and the prophets were just sitting around, not observing, not going back into the old records? What you think they were doing? What do you think they were doing? They were just like this? No, they were doing like we do. They were studying. They were going over the history. They were going over all these different manuscripts and these scrolls and reading about them. They knew about that. Even certain Israelites that weren't even in the spirit like that knew about the end time. Now I did a video last week, and I also brought it out at camp. You have something called the Messiah, the pierced Messiah text, or the War Scroll. that was found in Kumun Cave number 1 in 1947. Now, some scholars agree, or most scholars agree, that the Essenes, which hated Yahawashi, okay, the Essenes are the ones that wrote the war scroll. They knew that the Messiah, or there might have been, they call them also the Herodians, the Israelites that followed Herod, or whatever Herod they were following at the time. They knew about the future of the Roman government, or the future of Esau in this time. They talked about a war scroll in a pierced Messiah text. And they said in that war scroll that the Messiah was going to come back to do a lot of killing and to judge this world. How did they know that? Because they went back into the Old Testament. They went back into the old record.
God. So jump into the Genesis chapter 27 and verse 37. And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants, and with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father?
Now in that chapter, Isaac also promised Jacob a future, that he's going to have everything. But he also, and at the same time, in that chapter or whatever, Isaac also told Esau, look, you're going to have everything. And you're about to read it, but you're going to have everything. You're going to have everything, But it was prophesied in that chapter that Jacob was going to receive everything in the end. And that's the next kingdom to come, because we ain't got nothing now. See that?
God, continuing with verse 38. Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac
right,
his
Esau was crying like a little girl, right? Like they do. They start. Esau. These people are not spiritual, right? When they deal with us, they gotta they gotta hit us with their cheap shot. They can't really deal with us with the scripture or the Bible. You know what I'm saying? They start breathing hard. They start sucking their teeth. They start rolling their eyes at us. Because when they hear us speaking about these things, they're like, damn, how do these guys know all these things that we don't? Well, that's because the Lord ain't dealing with nobody but the Israelites. Huh? You don't hear no Muslim bringing out this information.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't hear no pastor to the Israelites or not. You don't hear them bringing out the prophecy or the information that we're bringing out. Because they don't possess this gift. They don't have the gift we have. You know what I'm saying? The gift we have, we can't, it's unwrapped. We unwrapped our gift, all right, so to speak. No, we don't celebrate Christmas, okay? But we unwrapped our gift.
Right, from the heavens. This is a spiritual gift.
Right, but they can't, their gift ain't unwrapped. It's like, it's not given to them, it's given to us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they did unwrap a gift. They unwrapped the gift with blunts in it, with drugs in it, with gang banging in it, and all kinds of abominable things with false gods in it. That's the gift they unwrap. Because that's what they do.
God.
It's not given to everybody. To us it's given, but to them it's not given. No, they can't understand these mysteries. Then they start getting jealous. Even 2/3, they start getting jealous at us. These guys, I wish I was like them. You're not like us. They're not like us. They not like us. Okay?
God.
They're not like us.
That's the truth. That's the truth. I seen these Moabites. I believe they were Moabites. They had I believe it goes back to, I don't know what it is. Their idol. They have it in their restaurant because I was making deliveries, and they have the fruit basket in front of their idol every day. I wanted to take a picture and make a video on it, but Lord willing, I could get to it. But yeah, that's what it is.
Well, the Moabites have an idol called the Moabite sarcophagus. I did a video on this a while back too. They got an idol called the Moabite sarcophagus, whatever idol that is. But these nations don't possess this gift. They don't possess this gift. right?
Gone.
And, that's it. 32.
Gone. Continuing with the lesson, this is verse 39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth. And that's what you see when I'm out traveling in these nice houses. 9 times out of 10, it's a heathen. It says,
Right.
and most likely Edomites, but it says, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
Right, and Esau does got the dominion. Now Esau has the dominion, he has the rule, right, or the kingdom. Now it mentions that Esau will receive the blessing and the sword. And the blessing is, riches, the
prosperity.
Right, the money, everything, every land, right? And he took it by violence with the sword, right? Whether it was his military, the United States cavalry, or, Esau's weapons or whatever, but that's how he took the Native Americans down. That's how we took the Seminole Indians down. That's how we took Judah down. He took us down by violence.
Right, and deception.
And deception in life.
Yeah, they're left-handed.
Magic.
Exactly.
Or source.
And now, want me to read verse 41?
Nah, that was
God.
it. Because if we do that, we're gonna jump into something else.
Yeah.
All right, now let's go into the history part of the book of Esdras. Okay, maybe we can end it off with that. Yes, we can speak about more. We can definitely speak about more in the book of Esdras. Let's go to 2nd Esdras chapter. Start at verse 11.
What chapter was that at?
2nd Esdras chapter 14 and verse 11.
God. 2nd Esdras chapter 14, verse 11. For the world is divided into 12 parts, and the 10 parts of it are gone already, and half of a 10th part. And there remaineth.
Hold on.
God.
Just read verse 11 for now.
2nd Esdras chapter 14, verse 11. For the world is divided into 12 parts, and the 10th part of it.
The 12th part is 12,000 years. All right, 12,000 years. So Ezra here is breaking down the creation, and he's also reiterating the book of Genesis. Right? Ezra knew how the timeline of history. Ezra knew the timeline of history. Okay, each part is 1,000 years. Okay, because when you read Genesis 1, let's just stop right there. Let's go to Genesis 1 and start at verse. I'm trying to find where I had this written down here. Start at verse where it starts talking about the 1,000 years. Okay, I found it.
You said in Genesis chapter 1?
Yes, in Genesis 1. And it was good, and that first day and the second, those days, the day.
Oh, okay, yeah. So just start at the top, Ak?
Start at the top. Got
God. Genesis 1 and 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, Let there be light, and there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from darkness. And God saw the light day and the darkness, and God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. And God said, let
And
there
that
be...
each day represents 1,000 years. All right, each day represents 1,000. Read a little more, then we can grab 2 Peter chapter 3. But I just want to, read the point to it.
And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day.
Right now, the second day, that's 2,000 years now, right? So that's 2 parts, right?
And God said, let
Now
the
the next
waters...
verse transitions into the 3rd part.
Verse 9, and God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear, and it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth, and it was so. And the earth brought forth grass and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good, and the evening and the morning were the 3rd day.
Okay, now the 3rd day, vegetation was created, right?
And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the 4th day. And
All right, we're
God
going to
said...
stop there. Now, the sun and the moon were created on the 4th day, right? And the stars, they were all created on the 4th day, which would be 4,000 years. Now, just to prove that each year is 1,000 years, you could jump to 2 Peter 3.
God.
Then we can resume in the book of Esdras, because there's another chapter that I want to bring out in the book of Esdras, dealing with history.
This is Second Peter chapter 3, verse 8. But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day.
That's it. See, Peter also knew that a day is 1,000 years with the Lord. That a day is 1,000 years. Peter knew it, and Ezra knew it, and we know it. All right. So let's jump back to 2nd Ezra chapter 14 and verse 11 once again. You got to read this slow, Wak. Read it slow, Wak. There's a lot to bring up. Read it slow.
2nd Ezra chapter 14, verse 11. For the world is divided into 12 parts.
Right. 12,000 years, not a billion years, but 12,000 years, right?
And the 10 parts...
See, this book makes so much sense. Because when you start hearing Esau talk about billions of years and millions of years, they're all in contradiction to each other. None of them agree with their own records. One says 10 million years. This one says 100 million years. And none of them agree. But when you read this book, you see how the prophets all agree with the same exact thing. You see how they're all in perfect harmony with each other.
And the 10 parts of it are gone already.
Now, the 10 parts, okay? Now, the 10 parts of it are gone already, right? Now, Ezra, the 10 parts are 10,000 years, all right? Are 10,000 years. Now, Ezra, he came on the scene around 500, 400 something BCE, right? Or BC. All right, he came on the scene around 5 something, 4 something BCE, right? Which he came around 9,500 years. Read it again. He came around like 9,500 years. Just to, give and take or to round it off.
2nd Esdras 14, verse 11, for the world is divided into 12 parts, and the 10 parts of it are gone already, and half of a 10th part.
Okay, now half of a 10th part will be 9,500 years. Okay, half of, if you take it away, they're gone already. That would be 9,000, around 9,500 years. A half of a 10 part is 9,500 years. And you know what you could do? If I remember correctly, I don't know if it's the GNT or the CEB, which it makes it clearer to read. I don't have my tablet on me, so I can't remember. Did I write? I don't think I wrote it down here.
I got the GNT pulled up. We'll check this one. 2nd Esdras 14, verse 11, the whole history of the world is divided into 12 periods, and the 10th period has already remained. Salakia.
Right, and you know why Ezra said that also is because say if you mention 4th century, the 4th century, it starts really like around 300, 4th century BC will start like around the 3rd century into the 4th. So it's within that time realm. If I'm saying that correctly, it's within that time realm. Yeah.
Verse 12, and it is half over, only 2.5 parts remain. So set your house in order.
No. We don't got to get that part. Read that again. Verse 11.
2nd Esdras 14, verse 11, the whole history of the world is divided into 12 periods,
right?
And the 10th period has already arrived.
Right.
Verse 12,
and half of the 10th part, right?
The 12, yeah. For some reason, it says verse 12, and it is half over. Only 2.5 parts remain.
Okay, it says only 2.5 parts remain, and the reason why Ezra said that because it came around 9,500 years of the creation. So he said only 2.5 remain, right? Now, if you use that half, that'll be when Yahawashi was born, which would be the 10,000 year. Yahawashi was born in the 1st century AD, so that'll be like 10,000 years, right? Now, hold on. Right, rejoice with Ezra lived around 500 BCE, 4 something BCE. Yahawashi was born around 400 to 500 years after Ezra prophesied this account. From the time of Yahawashi until now is 12,000 years. So if Yahawashi came around 10,000 years, we're now fast forward 2,000 years now. We're in the 12th part right now, and we're waiting for the end. Lord willing, it was broken down correctly, but I'm trying to remember. I haven't really gone over it in a while, but I'm trying to remember how to break it down fluently. You know what I'm saying? It's smooth. And that right there ties in with what we read in 2nd Ezra chapter 7 and verse 28, Yahawashi coming at 400 years or whatever after Ezra. So that ties in perfectly with history. So now we're in the 12th period. We're already in like the 13, like the beginning of, you know what I'm saying? We're into that timeline. Yeah. No, we're in it. Now we're just waiting for the MOTB to be implemented and the RFI and World War III to break out and to reach its climax.
Go on.
All right. Now read 2nd Ezra chapter, is it 6 or chapter 5? Let me see. Oh, there's a lot here. 2nd Ezra chapter 6. Start at verse 38. We're gonna have to read like at least 12 verses here.
That was
Or
chapter
13
6,
verses.
right?
Huh?
Chapter 6.
Yeah.
2nd Ezra 6, verse 38. And I said, O Lord, thou spakest from the beginning of the creation, even the first day, and saidst thus, Let heaven and earth be made, and thy word was a perfect work. And then was the spirit and
Hold on,
dark.
read that again now.
Verse 38. And I said, O Lord, thou spakest from the beginning of the creation, even the first day.
Even the first part, right? 1,000 years, right? And you read that in Genesis. That's why I wanted you to read it from there. Right?
And saidst thus, Let heaven and earth be made, and thy word was a perfect work. And then was the spirit, and darkness and silence were on every side. The sound of man's voice was not yet formed.
Right, because man wasn't created then, right?
Then commandedst thou a fair light to come forth of thy treasures, that thy work might appear. Upon the second day,
Which
thou
is the
made
second part with 2,000 years, right?
thou madest the spirit of the firmament, and commandest it to part asunder, and to make a division betwixt the waters,
Right?
that the one part might go up, and the
Right?
other remain beneath.
Right?
Upon the third day,
There are 3,000 years with the third part, right?
thou didst command that the waters should be gathered in the seventh part of the earth. 6 parts hast thou dried up, and kept them, to the intent that of these, some being planted of God and tilled might serve thee. For
Right?
as
Vegetation was created on the third day, right? The cucumbers, whatever, right?
For as soon as thy word went forth, the work was made. For immediately there was great and innumerable fruit,
Innumerable fruit.
innumerable fruit, and many and diverse and
Changeable
diverse
color.
pleasures. I misread. And diverse pleasures for the taste, and flowers of an unchangeable color, and odors of wonderful smell. And this was done the third day. Upon the fourth day, thou commandedst that the sun should shine, and the moon give her light, and the stars should be in order, and gavest them a charge to do service unto man that was to be made.
Okay.
Up,
Now,
upon,
let's read verse 47. And we're going to find out when man was created. Ezra knew very well of the account in written in Genesis. He knew very well. Don't forget, Ezra was a Levite priest, and he was also a scribe. Scribe means to write down. He was also a scribe / priest. So he knew what he was talking about. Nope.
upon the 5th day thou settest unto the 7th part, where
Right, so the 5th day is 5,000 years.
where the waters were gathered, that it should bring forth living creatures, fowls and fishes. And so it came to pass. For the dumb water and without life brought forth living things at the commandment of God, that all people might praise thy wondrous works. Then didst thou order 2 living creatures, the one thou calledest Enoch, and the other Leviathan.
Let's stop right there. Now, Enoch, we could all agree that Enoch is a man. Enoch means man. Okay, so on the 5th day, the Most High created man, and he also created Leviathan, which is one of those creatures that were created on the 5th day. Because the Bible calls us creatures, all right? Whether you're a man or whether you're a beast or whether you're an animal. Creature means a created thing. That's all it means. That's all it means. Now, if you jump to Genesis 1, and it might be verse 21, where it talks about the waters brought abundantly, the living creatures. And we could probably go into the blue letter for that word creature. It might say napash.
Genesis 1 and verse 20. And God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. And God created great whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly.
Okay.
After their
So the waters brought forth the creatures, right? Now the Adamites were formed on the 5th day. They were created on the 5th day of creation. All right. Also Leviathan. If let's go into that word creature first, then I want to go into the word whale. You know, like the dinosaurs were also created on the 5th day. The beast, the oxen, all the cattle were all created on the 5th day. When the YAHAWAH or the angels were creating the animals and all of that, it was split and broken down into different parts, right? You had this light here, moon here, sun here, everything was divided. You know what I'm saying? Everything was separated from one another. Here, this animal is going to be this animal. That light is going to be for that specific purpose. That light is going to be for this specific purpose. Okay, and that's how things are done. And that's how things were done.
So jumping into the word creature in Genesis 1 and 21, it's the Hebrew word napash.
Okay.
And it says soul, self, life, creature, person, appetite, mind, a living being, desire.
Right? Okay, so that living creature is known as a person or man. That's what a living creature is. All right. There's like I said, Okay, creature means man. Paul in the New Testament said, I preach the gospel, or Yahawashi commanded him to preach the gospel to every creature. I forgot who was speaking it there, but Paul wasn't going around speaking to an animal. Hey, animal, come hear the good news. He was speaking to Israelites. He was speaking to those creatures. That's what that he was talking about. He wasn't speaking to a dog or a cat, you know, because they're not created in our image. They're not created in the same likeness as man or woman or child. All right.
Something else it mentions right here. It says, that which breathes, the breathing substance or being, soul, the inner man, the inner being of man.
There you go. There you go. Because the pos could also mean soul. You're absolutely right. It could also mean soul. All right, now go to the word whale. Whales. Dinosaurs were not here a billion years ago. They were just here 12,000 plus years ago. That's it. When Noah was walking the earth, those dinosaurs was around. Those dinosaurs were around. Esau's science doesn't make sense.
Sulak,
Hold on. Esau's science doesn't make sense. All right? It's still on now. You got it.
So jumping into this word well in Genesis 1 and 21, this is H8577. The Hebrew word is Danayan. Danayan, which means a marine or land monster, sea serpent or jackal.
Okay. So Leviathan was created on that 5th day, right? So that's it. All right. Which is a creature in the water. Leviathan belongs to the water. He doesn't belong on land. And we're going to prove that as we read on here. All right. So let's go back to Ezra and chapter 6 and verse, 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse
49.
49.
2nd Ezra 6, verse 49. Then didst thou ordain 2 living creatures, the one thou calledest Enoch,
Man.
and the other Leviathan.
Okay.
And didst separate the one from the other. For the
Right. And also another scripture that you could go into about the dinosaurs is Job. Remember the one we read in Job? We ain't bring it out today, but in Job, dinosaurs were around back then. Okay. Continue on now.
God. And didst separate the one from the other. For the 7th part, namely, where the water was gathered together.
Let's stop right there. Let's stop right there, Baba Kushala. Stop right there. All right. It says, and did separate the one from the other. Now, if brothers are familiar with 1 Corinthians chapter 15, it talks about flesh of man, flesh of beast, flesh of fish, right? Paul in the book of Corinthians understood that you have man, you have beast, and you have different flesh. Paul also understood the creation. All right, Paul understood the creation, but Ezra is going deeper into the breakdown of the creation than Paul did. But Paul understood as well, right? Go ahead.
Verse 50. For the 7th part, namely, where the water was gathered together, might not hold them both. Unto Enoch thou gavest 1 part, which was dried up the 3rd day.
And what was that?
Land.
The land. Okay.
That
well, man don't belong in the water. Man might swim in the water. Man don't belong in the water like a fish. You know what I'm saying? Man don't have scales and gills, and he don't have to swim in the water. You know what I'm saying? You got Edomites act like animals. You had an Edomite. I watched a brother post up about a video with Edomite try to act like a dog. He paid to be a dog.
Yeah, I seen that.
Who does shit like that? Edomites do shit like that.
I seen a comment from a brother. They said Esau wants to take every. He doesn't want to be known as Esau. He's just trying to be like everything else, but who he is as a people. He doesn't want to take that claim because they know who they are.
Right. Of course.
But
Of course.
so going into you mentioned men weren't meant to be in water. That's why the Lord flooded. You know, with the first death. Lord, hey, these people, we're not fish. Now, continuing where we left off, unto Enoch thou gavest one part, which was dried up the third day, that he should dwell in the same part wherein are 1,000 hills.
Right. We're in there 1,000 hills. That's the land, right? Where vegetation grows, where plants grow.
But unto Leviathan thou gavest the seventh part, namely the moist, and hast kept him to be devoured of whom thou wilt, and when.
Right, because Leviathan is a major part of prophecy. For those that think that Leviathan is some type of gimmick or some type of facade, or we have a fascination with mythological creatures, you got another thing coming, all right? Because these animals are real, these beasts are real. I heard the IURC break this down, and I actually agree with the IURC on this breakdown. They said that when like the iceberg did not hit the Titanic, it just didn't sink like that. They think Leviathan is the one that did it. Because remember, they said, who can knock down, who can sink? No, even God can't sink the Titanic.
Yeah, that pride,
so
yeah.
God, they believe that God used Leviathan to sink the Titanic. Because these animals, sometimes people think that the animals have to be visible for them to exist. That's not necessarily true. They could also be invisible and still exist. I'm talking about these beasts that the Most High creates.
Right.
Just like demons, right? We can't see, like, we can see demons manifest in the flesh, but demons are all around us, just like you got angels around us. You got evil demons that try to hinder brothers and stop brothers from doing their thing. And you got what? You got angels that are helping brothers do their thing, you know? Help brothers in his movement, in his ministry.
Con, they have that witchcraft saying that sorcery of seeing is believing, and that's false. Right. They have no faith. That's proof that these people they don't have the spirit. You have to have faith, and you know, faith is believing in things that aren't seen.
Right, right.
Con. So jumping back, this is 2nd Esdras chapter 6, verse 53. Upon the sixth day, thou gavest commandment unto the earth, that before thee it should bring forth beasts, cattle, and creeping things. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures. Of him come we all, and the people.
Right. Now, on the sixth day, Adam was giving the law, right? Let's go to, what's that, Genesis 2:6 or 2:7? That Adam was given the law. That one particular man, Adam. But before that, you had the Adamites, which is plural for more than one Adam. Because everyone does come out of Adam. But the Lord chose one specific group of people to rule the earth. All right, and to be superior to another race of people. Right? Because yes, the Bible is a racist book and the Lord is a racist.
Okay. He said in Genesis, what chapter was that at?
2:7, not
2:7.
2:6.
Okay. Genesis chapter 2, verse 6. But there went up a mist from the earth, and watered the whole face of the ground. And Yahawaah and the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul.
Read that again now.
God. Genesis 2, verse 6. But there went up a mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground. And Yahawah and the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground.
Okay, where it says the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, dust can mean confusion. Okay, Isaiah 47:1 is a perfect scripture to go to, but dust means confusion. Because without laws, you have anarchy and you have confusion. So the Lord gave the laws to Adam at this time. He gave this specific man, Adam, the laws, and he gave the sons of God the laws. Right?
And breathed into his nostrils the breath of life.
Right, which are the laws, right?
And man
Because man,
became a living soul.
so if man already was created on the fifth day, existed on the fifth day, why would the Most High have to breathe again the breath of life into somebody if they already was alive and with the breath of life in them to begin with? Or, to have that breath. But the breath could also mean, being alive, and could also mean having and the law.
God. Continue in chapter 2.
Nah, that was it. That was
God.
it. That was it. I just wanted to, break that down with you.
God.
There is a lot more. So there's a lot more to like break down, but all right. So Ezra is an important book to read and also to understand prophecy. Now we could have went into more in 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 9. Where it talks about Esau being the end of the world. This devil is in control and has power of the earth, and we could have brought out Job 9 and 24 as well. But Ezra knew that Esau will be the end of the age. Right? Ezra understood that. Just like Yahawashi understood. Remember Yahawashi in John 8, he said, "He are of your father the devil." He told certain Jakes, "You are of your father the devil." He's talking to the sons of God.
God.
Okay, they were going off back in Genesis 6. He said, "He are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father he would do, for he was the murderer from the beginning." Yahawashi was speaking of who? Who was Yahawashi speaking of? When he said, "You are a murderer and the father of it." What man was he speaking about?
Oh, Cain.
Exactly. So Yahawashi understood that
Who was an
who
Adamite
that
too.
first murderer. Right. He understood that. Now, and Yahawashi also understood who Esau was, because Esau, okay, was ruling during the time of Yahawashi. The John the Revelator in the book of John, that might be 1 John. He said, "He that hateth his brother is the murderer. No life abideth in it." Roughly paraphrased, but
Right.
it says that he that hateth his brother is the murderer. See, John the Apostle, or John the Revelator, same man, understood that the Edomites rule the earth at this time. Right? He understood that the Edomites rule the earth at this time. That's why he said he was a murderer from the beginning, right?
God.
John understood who Cain was. He understood who Esau was.
God.
Oh man, so that's why it's so important to use the book of Ezra when you're teaching out there on the street, because there's a lot more that we could have actually went into. 2nd Ezra 15 and like around verse 30, something talks about the Carmanians or the Elamites. That's World War III right there, or the Iranians. So we could have went into all of that. But the book of Esdras is part of the Bible, and it's canonical. It's to be read and it's to be used. The reason why Esau removed the Apocrypha is because all this information is in the Apocrypha. How many church pastors read the Apocrypha? How many church pastors actually read the Apocrypha?
None.
None. And the reason why they don't read it is because they don't believe in the Apocrypha. But Yahawashi quoted the Apocrypha. For example, where can you find the Feast of Dedication? In the book of Matthew, right?
Right.
Yahawashi in John 10 and 22 spoke about the Feast of Dedication that he attended. That happened during the time of Judas Maccabees and Mattathias to them. All right, so with that,
I got a precept. I was looking for this precept. Let me go ahead and grab it real quick if you don't mind.
Okay, go.
This is Sirach 43 and 32, just to back up what we were touching on, briefly with Leviathan. Sirach 43, verse 32. They are yet hid greater things than these be, for we have seen but a few of his works. So just because, Esau tells you, chariots are UFOs, they're unidentified. Leviathan may just be a mystical creature. All these things have a purpose throughout the scriptures, which Esau can't give you because, he's not spiritual first and foremost. And also he'd be telling on himself. So
Of course.
the Lord left it up to the prophets to break these things down, Of course, you would just say giving attendance to prophecy, these words. So I don't want to this lesson was edifying. You could go ahead, Ak.
God. So with that, we want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahawashi, call HALALYAM, YAHAWAH, and Shalawam.